We need to consider more closely the relationship between the interior of a building and its influence on an individual, because interior designers should evaluate the direct outcome their proposals can have on an employee. Design can affect them in several ways. Firstly, setting aside spaces for plants in an office is linked to worker well-being and performance. Research has shown that the simplicity of having plants in a working environment positively affects air quality. Air that is more filtered then has knock-on effects, such as increased productivity, greater concentration, and a reduction in stress. This clearly shows that at minimum cost to companies, working performance can be improved. The second one is not as cost-effective. It concerns office space. While an open plan office is seen to promote interaction and boost communication and productivity, this isn't always true. I think it has now been proven that it can go the opposite way. Open plan offices lead to a lack of face-to-face communication and an over-reliance on electronic interactions as staff feel vulnerable and exposed and less inclined to share ideas. Finally, it seems clear that the interior of a building directly affects performance at work, and therefore we should not underestimate how work culture is affected by office design.
And the essence of the Charter is that it enshrined in our thinking and in our history respect for the commons. What are the commons? The commons belong to nobody, and they belong to all of us. They're not private property, they're not state property. They are the resources that we share on the ground, under the ground, the air, the water, the minerals, the many things that could be turned into resources for production. But they're also the social amenities and social services and institutions of our culture and our education that stem from our history.
While we have explored space and sent people to the moon, one area that remains a bit of a mystery is our own brain. In particular, the different processes and operations our brains perform every day. Recent research has tried to show a link between physics and decision-making, and now a model using quantum physics to explain how we decide between two or more options has been published.
Today, the Sahara is one of the Earth's largest deserts. However, 10,000 years ago, the climate was very different. The air was not as dry as it is today, and there were several large ponds and lakes. One of these was located near a cave, which was therefore an ideal home for early humans. Fish from these lakes was used as food by the people who lived there. We know this because a large quantity of fish bones was found at the site.
So, the Mediterranean diet. What is it exactly? Well, as one would guess, it's based on the foods commonly eaten in countries around the Mediterranean Sea, like Spain, southern Italy, Greece, and so on. And it's not really a specific diet plan as such, but more a way of eating, which favours foods such as vegetables, whole grains, beans, fruits, nuts. And this is one of the things about this diet. The emphasis is on healthy fats, with things like olive oil getting special attention. And on that note, although consumption of animal protein is generally on the lower side, fish does feature prominently, specifically oily fish, like salmon or sardines, due to the high omega-3 fatty acids they contain. These types of fat are thought to have a beneficial effect on heart health, and this diet has been linked in numerous studies not only with that, but also with improved brain function and longer life expectancy. The thing to remember, though, is that it's not simply a case of drizzling a bit more olive oil on your salads or sprinkling some nuts here and there in your existing diet. The findings show that it is often the combination of these specific nutrients, teamed with regular physical activity, that lead to these positive health effects over time. It may just be that the people who eat a Mediterranean diet are those that tend to have a healthier lifestyle in general.
But not all tears are the same. There are basically three kinds of tears, each of which contain subtly different proteins, oils, chemicals, and hormones. Basal tears are the ones that lubricate our eyeballs. They produce between 5 and 10 ounces every day, and either evaporate or are drained through the puncta. Reflex tears are the tears that protect the eyes. We cry, for example, when cutting onions. I'm reminded here, if you remember the end of Huckleberry Finn, when Tom Sawyer gets Jim to cut open an onion so that he can water the plant in his prison cell. And the third, of course, psychic tears. These are emotional responses to the world. We cry when we're sad.
So, how should I start this talk? I believe there are some people who would advise that I begin with a joke, but I find this doesn't really work for me. It's the start of the talk. You're getting settled in, you're still putting your things away, you're getting ready to concentrate, you're getting used to my voice.
Trees are indispensable in the natural world, and they could hold the key to the survival of the planet. Not only do they provide vital food and shelter for wildlife, they also have a part to play in slowing down global warming by absorbing carbon dioxide. In addition, they help to preserve the quality of land by adding to its nutrients and by preventing soil erosion. Yet undoubtedly, their biggest threat is deforestation. Many activities such as farming, mining, and the production of paper products result in deforestation. There needs to be a global effort to balance the needs of these industries with the preservation of woodlands and forests.
Coastal erosion can cause existing beaches to be partially or completely washed away. This can pose a threat to wildlife that is dependent on specific beaches. For example, sea turtles return to the beach where they hatched to lay their own eggs. If the beach is eroded, turtles may build a nest in a place that isn't a sufficient distance from the sea. This means the nest could be flooded by seawater should the incoming tide reach a certain level. This can threaten the survival of the species. Fortunately, in some places, such as Costa Rica, volunteers collect turtle eggs so that they may be incubated in a safe environment.
You will work as part of a team for this project.
Our objective is to determine how to maximize learner achievement.
Common literary techniques include metaphor, analogy, and repetition.